Hello everyone, it is January 20th and we are here to talk to you about relationships, platonic
Yay.
and otherwise.
That is always a fun topic to talk about. A lot of people have been requesting about our relationship and also just our views in relationship, what we kind of think of.
Okay, so where should we begin?
You want to talk about us?
Well, we met in college. Well, we still are in college, but we met in a class for sculptural forms. It was our foundation class. And essentially, like, she saw that I was reading a painting book, and then we essentially discovered we're in the same major. We both paint, and we both essentially share the same interest, same type of painting. Essentially, common interest is what started the relationship between us. And then afterwards, since we were in the same class, we decided to work on same projects together, collaborate, especially because the medium of sculpture was so new to both of us, and we never really did anything like this before. So if we collaborated, it was neither a win or would lose situation.
Yeah, and then through a lot of like collabs and stuff that we've done, we basically like our relationship grew, and that caused us to really like see each other a lot. And then also both our roommate situations were kind of horrible. That's another story.
Yeah, no tea, no shade, but they were not as good as I would like them to be.
Exactly, and just like personal reasons. But anyhow, that's another reason why we became closer. And you know, I knew that he was gay, and that wasn't an issue with me. And we had a lot of fun together, like working together.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of laughs, you know, personality-wise, and just like seeing him every day and just like hanging out, just really like made me see like what a genuine person, what a good person Alex was. So like I really enjoyed my company with him.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed her company. And at the end of the day, like, even there were some situations like me coming into Baltimore, me coming in as sort of just like having a fresh start, and I almost even looked at her as like an example for like for myself, and essentially like going into certain situations, even though she let me sort of learn on my own, but like looking at her by example, I was able to sort of like figure out what would be the best situation with the best desirable outcome. But that comes with like other relationships with other people, because we both had our own little I guess you can say, not necessarily like I guess we both had our own sort of battles and what's the word I'm looking
like
for?
our own like kind of situations.
Episodes, you can say.
Like with relationships?
Yeah, with actual relationships. Not with like friendships, but with actual relationships. Best thing when you're learning a situation, especially when you're learning how to deal with somebody else in a relationship, you have to really know what you stand for. And I didn't necessarily know what I stood for in the beginning. It was kind of just like, I was ready to dive in, and I wasn't really sure what was there. I mean, I guess that's sort of like the fun part about being sort of fresh and sort of brand new to a situation. But then when you realize there are sort of undesirable things in that water, you kind of realize, oh shit, I need to get to the shallow end and sort of like realize that that's not necessarily the best thing for me. And so you eventually figure out what you do and don't want and what's best for you.
Foundation is crucial. Whether it's friendships or relationships, having some sort of foundation down first is like so crucial, because you know, if I just kind of met Alex and was just, we didn't really have a friendship, and let's say like he was straight and we just kind of went into it, like I probably would guess that it would not work out.
And I'm told
Because,
I'm sorry.
well, it's okay.
But you like start the way you finish 99.9% of the times. Like, say for example, like we were chill from the get-go and we were around each other. So I'm assuming if something did happen, I feel like we could end on good terms, because we never really like. We essentially we actually like nurtured a relationship versus like getting into a situation. This goes into like relationships when you kind of just like, you do all this stuff with this person, you become physical and emotionally intimate with this person, but you end up being acquaintances who have memories with each other and have been in certain circumstances. But at the end of the day, you guys don't know each other in any other light. But being intimate with each other and being in a really intense physical relationship with each other. Like, some people are built for that. Some people can do go back and forth with each other, be in open relationships, and do that. And no shade to anyone who can do that, because like that's just not something that I want to do, not something that I prefer to involve myself in.
Hey, me and Alex have discussed this before, and like for us in our personal relationships, like we discussed this together numerous times. Like we both want long-term relationships. We both aren't built for like just like having hookups. We both come to realize that that's not who we are.
No.
That's really not what we want, and like no one wants to be hurt. And besides, like we have so much like work to do at the same time. We're only 21-year-olds in college, and just like figuring out what we want for ourselves. And I think for us, like we want long-term relationships, but we know that that's like rare in college.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's totally fine.
And I know too many people whose hopes and dreams and aspirations have been swayed because they were more invested in trying to nurture a relationship with another individual versus trying to invest in their careers and what they actually really want to do in life. And as a result, they become 40 and 50 and 60-year-old people who end up doing mediocre jobs they aren't passionate about. And I don't want to be in that situation. I don't want a job that pays the bills. I want a career that I can enjoy, that I look forward to getting up in the morning to get to where I want to do, because that's what everyone wants.
Yeah, I hope so. And like also, it's another thing is like I observe a lot of times like well, I'm a girl, so I'm gonna say it in a girl's perspective. A lot of times girls tend to put label on things really quickly, want to put like a relationship status, like change it really quickly, and they're willing to sacrifice like everything for this person. And I'm just like, you've only known this person like for like a month, a week, a day, and you're willing to sacrifice everything, your hard work, willing to move to another area just because for this person. And I'm just like, you have to like look at yourself and just be like, he's only been in your life for a few months, few moments, and you've been working your ass off for years. And like, for me, like when I think about it, like that's not like, logical to me.
Are you willing to throw that all the way for another individual?
Exactly. And you know, like some people that works for them. Some people just want to be in love. Me, I want best of both worlds.
Yeah, I want a good career and a guy that stands behind me and supports what I do, and we can have a really intimate and emotional and passionate relationship.
Exactly.
And like, I know it's not going to come overnight. It's not even going to be the next week or next month for all I know. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's in the card? I can't really like put like a time stamp of when this is supposed to happen. But at the end of the day, my perspective, I feel like when you get to a place in your life where the money's coming in, the money's good, you end up in a situation that is, you are financially prosperous, not necessarily like you're rich and you're making it rain, but I'm just saying like you have no struggles. Right now we are struggling to get to where we need to go, and that comes with the territory. Yeah. Like we're slowly like leaving our parents' nest. And being in a college setting, you're surrounded by other people who are in the process of leaving their parents' nest. So also known as a bunch of broke college students. I mean, when you end up being in a situation where you're having a career, you can ask more of other people. I mean, that's just at the end of the day, not saying that like, I mean, as long as you're willing to tolerate and accept everything that comes with the territory of whoever you date, whether it be a college student who is more financially dependent on his parents and living check to check and trying to pay off his student loans versus someone who graduated, who is looking at more business endeavors, or someone who is well off. But me, like coming from a gay man's perspective, I get kind of, I guess you can say, prideful when it comes to being in a relationship, especially when it comes to finances and how much they have versus how much I don't have. Like, I know if I'm entering a relationship with somebody and they are more well off than me, I still try to, I guess you can say, stay in my lane based on what I can give to the table. Like, I don't feel comfortable giving, or not giving, but like accepting too much from other people. Like, say if you're like trying to pay for everything, if you're trying to drive me somewhere, if you're trying to do this, that, and the other, and I'm not really reciprocating, then I get really uncomfortable. So it has to be a two-way street with me, and vice versa. If I was doing everything, if I was paying for everything, if I'm the only one who really has a house and I'm still trying to get my stuff together, then it would just be a disconnect for me. I feel like I need to be well off in order to get into that situation, also known as be with someone who's, I guess you can say, on my level.
Yeah, like, because I feel like that awkwardness comes in when there's like a huge age difference, because like someone who's like, 27, ready to settle down, looking for a home, versus someone who's like 21, 22, who's like just out of college, find his way, whether or not you want to travel after you leave college, whether or not you want to take a break and then go back to grad school. I mean, everyone takes different like routes in life.
Exactly.
And like at the end of the day, like Alex said, you have to be willing to tolerate certain things of that person. Like, love doesn't pay the bills, but if you really like this person and you want it to work, whether or not you guys are both not financially like independent, if you want it to work, you should be both like accepting of each other and what situation you are. Because no one wants to end a relationship going like, well, I don't think we can work out anymore because I make more money than you, or because you're not in my level, I can't date. Like that's not like, I don't think that's a rational reason, because I feel like when you accept the fact that you're gonna be her boyfriend or his girlfriend, you are saying that I know who you are and I accept all of you and I'm willing to be in a relationship with you.
Yeah, and once you get to that point, if you're dating and you realize this person isn't really where you need them to be,
okay.
That's different. Like if you're just dating someone and you're just like, well, you don't make the money, you don't bring to the table what I need you to bring, and I'm already halfway across the checkerboard and you're still getting the pieces out the box.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly understandable, and that happens all the time.
Right. But if you think this person is the right person and you really like them, then don't ask them to be your girlfriend,
Exactly.
Like when you say yes, you're accepting that person as a whole person.
Exactly.
You're accepting every flaw, every quirk, everything,
Exactly.
And that is a commitment, and and at this day and age, you should know what you want to some degree.
Well, not necessarily. Some people don't necessarily know what they want until like 30, 40 years old. Some people still haven't figured it out yet.
I'm like saying as in like, not common sense wise, but like as a 21-year-old, at least for me, I don't know what I exactly want, but I know at this stage of my life, I know what I want.
Yeah, and some people are, and you're one of the more fortunate ones. Not everybody does that yet, and that comes into like another thing of knowing your self-worth, knowing what you will and won't tolerate. Because if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything, and they will treat you any which way. They will treat you like dirt when you are actually really worth, like you're like diamond studded, and you need to let them know that.
Exactly. I went through that phase when I was like in high school and middle school, so I completely understand that. Going into college, I wasn't tolerating any bullshit.
Yeah.
I knew my self-worth, and I was like, no. Rather being hurt, being single, and doing your work, so much easier half the time.
Exactly. I mean, you get to a situation, like I was in a situation and I was more concerned about keeping this person around versus actually like realizing, before I realized what I was actually doing and what I was sacrificing to keep this person around. And it wasn't necessarily, like my outcome wasn't necessarily worth what I was putting into it. And it was just a learned situation. Like there's no malice towards this person at all, but like we just realized we just weren't, we just didn't need to be around each other.
Exactly. Same thing as like the moment you realize that like you're not happy anymore,
Yeah.
Like that's such a big thing. If you're not happy and you're not comfortable around this person, like that should be a red flag to begin with.
And like my mama says, when you are tired, and I mean really tired, I don't mean like, oh, he's acting a fool again, I can't really stand him, but then you guys still tolerate being around each other. When you are tired and you are through, you will do what you can to get out of that situation. Whether you will be crawling and screaming to get out of that hole, kicking and screaming, you will do what you have to do to get out of that situation. If you don't want to be in there, you won't. And that comes with almost anything.
That is a true fact. Exactly. So I guess like people want to know, Alex, what your ideal guy
My
would be.
ideal guy. Well, I guess you can say one of the first few things, you have to really make me laugh. That's one of like my main things. I'm such an outgoing, goofy goober to begin with.
Oh, and I know this firsthand.
Girl, like I like people ask us like, do you embarrass her like in public?
Like people literally like ask me if I'm embarrassed by him.
But like I'm just like a wild person. Not like wild as in like turn up, let's go party, but
Like every weekend,
like
but-
I'm just a really eccentric person. Especially if I'm really comfortable with you. Like I try to like kind of keep my noodles on low at first when I'm encountering someone. Throw a little hoo-has and laughters in there. Try to get them to try to realize that I'm like a funny, like, or at least try to be a funny guy.
Right.
And if you take the bait, then I kind of just unleash the levee on
Because
you.
it's like you're comfortable. I'm like, if you accept my humor, then I'm guessing that you accept me as a person.
And like anything like obvious, like there's just the obvious things like loyalty, because I'm not into an open relationship. I'm not into anything of the sort. So if you are interested in an open relationship, then if you're on my dating profile, click next, because I'm not that bitch. And at the end of the day, like there's just certain things. I'm not sure. I'm like at the end of the day, I guess you can call it shallow or superficial, but like there are just certain things about certain people that when I notice about them, it kind of just gives me like peace of mind. And I guess when you see somebody and they're taken care of, when you see their, at least here anyway, like their apartment or their dorm room, if it's well kept, that sort of gives me an idea. Oh, this person watches after their person. Excuse me. They manage their personal life. They keep things in order, etc. They keep their body in order. And actually, at the end of the day, you call it superficial if you will, but I'm a very visual person, especially when it comes to being physical with somebody. I need everything to be like fit and trim. At the end of the day, like call me shallow, call me a bitch. I don't really give a shit. And if you don't like it, you're not dating me. So I don't really care. And because I do what I can to make sure I keep my body right. Like, so why can't I ask the same? So if you don't like it, you can kick rocks and eat glass. So
eat glass. There you go.
And aside from that, I like a creative type, and like not necessarily like this person has to do art, but he has to understand and respect what I do, because I'm a painter and I'm a very creative person. That's my my outlet is creativity. I don't need somebody that disrespects and shit on what I do. That would be like the worst. Like, how would you feel if like you're like a lawyer type and I'm just going like, well, you're just insensitive and I don't respect what you do. And like you defend people, you defend rapists and serial killers, and you defend them in court. I'm like, well, that's your job. That's your job at the end of the day. I'm not really aside from like physicality, I'm not really too into a specific type. I know there are a lot of people that are very into a specific type, whether it be race, whether it be whether your hair is a certain way. I'm noticed I'm into odd features like big noses, long hair, freckles, and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you're well kept, that's all I care about.
And personality's on point.
And personality can be on point. You could be like Ryan Gosling, and if your personality is shit, I won't even give you a second
I'll be like,
look.
bye.
I'll be like, bye, toodaloo, bye, next.
Exactly.
Boys are like buses.
Oh, girl.
You miss one, the next one is coming.
Exactly. So anything else for you?
Oh, not so much. What about you, Miss Thing?
Me? Oh, well, you kind of covered everything. But
Big dick.
oh, girl,
I'm
not
just
even.
playing.
He's not playing.
Not really.
For me, I guess.
I can't say.
Why I'm talking? Well, for me, I guess it's personality has to make me laugh, just like Alex. And it's and I didn't realize why having someone making me laugh was so important until I met Alex. And I realized what such a goofy goober he is, but he can be serious at the same time, and I like that. I like the fact that we can be in our dorms and just laugh our asses off till our head is like throbbing and my stomach hurts and I feel like I'm gonna die. Like, it's all good because like it makes me happy, and like I'd rather be a happy person instead of stressing over things. I mean, life is too short at the same time. So laughing has to make me laugh. Personality has to be on point. Has to respect what I do, because no one wants to be with somebody that just kind of goes like, well, you ain't doing shit. Like, no one wants to hear that, whatever major you are, you know? Physicality, that is a bonus. Good looks are a good feature to have, you know? You don't have to be like Ryan Gosling status or something, but, you know, just like visually, like, good looking, you know? My aesthetic, I don't know, like, I go from,
You like clean cut.
I do like clean cut. That is, Alex knows that. I do like clean cut, but I'm not really picky, not picky with race. Kind of like, my thing is like, if we vibe and we like each other's company, you got my attention right there. Like, that's number one.
I'm not really too aside from like physicality, I'm not really too into a specific type. I know there are a lot of people that are very into a specific type, whether it be race, whether it be whether your hair is a certain way. I'm noticed I'm into odd features like big noses, long hair, freckles, and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you're well kept, that's all I care about.
And personality is on point.
And personality can be on point. You could be like Ryan Gosling, and if your personality is shit, I won't even give you a second
I'll be like,
look.
bye.
I'll be like, bye, toodaloo, bye, next.
Exactly.
Boys are like buses.
Oh, girl.
You miss one, the next one is coming.
Exactly. So anything else for you?
Oh, not so much. What about you, Miss Thing?
Me? Well, you kind of covered everything. But
Big dick.
oh, girl,
I'm
not
just
even.
playing.
He's not playing.
Not really.
For me, I guess.
I can't say.
Open wine while talking. Well, for me, I guess it's personality has to make me laugh, just like Alex. And it's and I didn't realize why having someone making me laugh was so important until I met Alex. And I realized such a goofy goober he is, but he can be serious at the same time, and I like that. I like the fact that we can be in our dorms and just laugh our asses off till our head is like throbbing and my stomach hurts and I feel like I'm gonna die. Like, you know, it's all good because like it makes me happy, and I'm like, I'd rather be a happy person instead of stressing over things. I mean, life is too short at the same time. So laughing has to make me laugh. Personality has to be on point. Has to respect what I do, because no one wants to be with somebody that just kind of goes like, well, you ain't doing shit. Like, no one wants to hear that, whatever major you are, you know? Physicality, that is a bonus. Good looks are a good feature to have, you know? You don't have to be like Ryan Gosling status or something, but, you know, just like visually, like, good looking, you know? My aesthetic, I don't know, like, I go from
You like clean cut.
I do like clean cut. That is, Alex knows that. I do like clean cut, but I'm not really picky, not picky with race. Kind of like, my thing is like, if we vibe and we like each other's company, you got my attention right there. Like, that's number one. It has to dress well. Alex knows this. I mean, you don't have to be like wearing like Gucci. But like, you know, just like, because I can't afford it, so like, you know, just like dress well, you know, just look good, you know. But that's kind of like what I want in a guy. But you know, although corny stuff kind of makes me uncomfortable sometimes.
Define corny.
Corny as in like, I don't know, like sending like love poems through text messages.
You know who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I'm just I like to be I like when my guy shows his affection, but like love poem through text message, I get kind of uncomfortable, and I promise you I'll make fun of you for it. It's just like sometimes corny goes like way too far, and then I'm just kind of like not attracted to it, you know.
Unless you're being ironic of some sort.
Don't be ironic with me.
I don't know. I mean, like sometimes it works. Like if you're like the type of person, if that ties into your sense of humor, like what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Not like you're being ironic as in you can't be serious, but as in like it ties into your sense of humor.
Yeah, like that's okay, but for me, that just kind of makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I'm not gonna date someone that's insecure. I mean, everyone's insecure to some degree about something.
Like I'm insecure about my eye that's slightly smaller than the other one, but
like I had bigger eyes than him. Whatever. It's just like be secure with who you are, and just like whether or not you're doing long distance, like he's in your neighborhood, just be secure. Like if you're in a relationship with this person, you're also accepting the fact that you trust that person, you know, and like
they'll accept you regardless.
I'm like, if I'm out with my friends, you should be able to trust me that I'm not gonna do some dumb shit.
And when you are aware of your insecurities, they won't be able to, whoever you're dating or you're trialing an error with, or who you think might be your boo, they won't be able to prey on that because you're securing your shit.
Exactly.
We hope you guys enjoy this video. We worked really hard on it.
And just like to give you an insight of what we like and what we want in a relationship and what our dynamic is like, and because you guys are so curious and how we keep our relationship.
And we hope we answered your questions to the best of our ability, and hope you guys stick around for some more videos.
Yes, because there's more to come.
Absolutely. And peace.
Bye.
Bye.